Richard, do you fancy doing a Q&A? You can't really say no.
Yeah, we've got in the car to do a Q&A. We sat in the truck to do a Q&A, mate. No, I just want to go for a drive, mate. Yes.
It's a mix of questions, some from the team, some from the audience.
Wait. Some from the audience, that's you. Yeah, that's cool. Some from the team.
There's some spicy ones from the team.
Who from the team?
Myself. A couple from Lucy. Cameraman Tom. Bit of a mishmash.
None of that was in the deal.
Yeah. Well, they're the proper
can't just lay
spiky
me
ones.
open to that. All right.
Because we really know you.
Okay.
So.
All right. Okay. Well, I've got no choice.
An easy one.
Yeah.
How's Ram TRX life?
Big. It's one of those vehicles. Spending time with it. It isn't what you expect it to be. Actually, first time you get in it, it's the ride that just staggers. Because they're competition shocks, off-road shocks, and they're therefore very, 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 very good. And it rides incredibly well. But it is enormous.
It is, yeah.
There's no getting around it.
Question number 2. You have been on 2 grand tours quite recently.
Yes.
First of all, how were they? Let's start with Mauritania.
They're fantastic. Really good fun.
Yeah.
Both tremendous, both with loads of those moments when you know it's really working, either when the cars are just really knocking it out of the park, and moments when we were properly laughing and sharing the joy, and those are always my favourite bits. They're the best bits to watch as well, with all 3 of us are just in hysterics. Yeah, they were great fun. They had all the good bits of a Grand Tour special, fabulous scenery that all the time you know is being beautifully caught by the team. Great story, great cars, great laughs, great adventure. Yeah.
And is there one of the 2 that you filmed that you think is potentially your favourite?
Yeah, probably the second.
Okay. Top Gear, it's not been fully confirmed, but it's been said in the press that Top Gear is no more fully. How did that make you feel when you saw those headlines?
End of an era. But you're not going to look at the end of these things. They're making way, moving over. Other stuff will come along. Of course it will. Cars are not becoming any less of an interesting topic. If anything, they're more interesting than ever with the changes that must come and are. So it is maybe the end of an era, but a new one begins.
So what do you think is going to fill that space?
I think there's room, weirdly, but because of the way it's going, there should be an authoritative, grown-up, industry-facing show. Because it's an industry undergoing massive change, and it's important, it affects us all. But there should also be shows that reflect the fun and the passion wrapped up in the most exciting, the most important machine we've ever made.
So in terms of filling the space, there's obviously everything happening on YouTube right now. It's where a lot of people consume their car content. We had our event recently, and a video, / a couple of videos that people kept talking to me about were our road trip to the Lake District and Scotland. So there's appetite for it. Where would you like to go on the next DriveTribe road trip in 2024?
Ooh, blimey, you just
Blank
sprung
sheet
a
paper.
planning meeting on me. I don't know. Where else?
With the right sponsor, it can essentially be anywhere.
I would be quite keen, though. A lot of it's very boring, but once you're there, it's great. Get down to the French Riviera and mooch about down there.
Okay.
Maybe go down that way and cruise along around the Med a little bit. Or if we were to be UK. Oh, tell you what I love. It depends on the cars. I love a British seaside town.
Okay.
But off-season, when the weather's crap.
Good.
I absolutely love a proper... Stop saying things to the truck. I love a proper British seaside town.
Okay, are we talking like Scarborough,
Yeah.
Brighton,
Yeah,
Aberystwyth?
yeah. I actually, on the way to our event,
Yes.
going down to Yeovil, past Weston-super-Mare, which is where my dad's parents used to live.
Okay.
So when we were in Birmingham, we'd go down, that was a holiday, we'd go down to see them in Weston-super-Mare. And I haven't been there for, I'm going to say 25 years, but it's probably more, it's probably 30. And I drove down because I wanted to find a particular space where two critical things happened in my life. One, I stood on the seafront, I looked over the wall, and there was this bloke waving his arms about talking to a camera. I was like, what's he doing? And it was Derek Griffiths. He used to present kids shows at the time.
Cool.
And he was talking to the camera. And I just thought, that's amazing. Look at him talking to somebody that's not there, but it's like they are.
Yes.
And that's when the seed was sown for doing TV. And then over on the Winter Gardens, opposite, at the same time, there was a car show on. There were a few classics, a few hot rods. I was, I'm going to say, 7, 8. I'd never seen anything like it. I ran around with my little 110 camera taking pictures. And then once I got the prints back, I gridded them up and I drew them. I've got to find those drawings. And I think that's where the connection was made for me, TV and cars.
That's a pretty monumental moment.
I think it's, and I can identify the spot. I think I didn't go to the spot then because I was driving, I went straight through, but I think I know where it was. And I think I stood there and I saw those two things and that defined my career path.
I'm
pretty sure.
I think that's the answer then. I think we've got our destination.
So well, maybe I want to do some seaside towns. I want to do more than one because I want to sit in whatever we're driving and eat chips whilst looking through rain-streaked windows at the sea. Because you can, Weston-super-Mare, you can park on the beach and you still can. I pass where you go. And that again, Weston-super-Mare was where my dad, when I was like 5, would let me sit on his lap and steer. And it was, I'd endure the days of suffering it took in the car to get from Birmingham to Weston-super-Mare.
What car was it?
I would have driven in the Anglia, the Marina, the Ford Escort Mark I Estate.
Nice.
And then I was probably getting a bit old. So yeah, all of those cars. And that's why I went to Weston-super-Mare, because you got to steer an actual car on the beach.
Wow.
Yeah.
Weston-super-Mare's got a lot to answer for.
It has, hasn't
Bloody
it?
hell.
I'm beginning to think it might be quite tied up with my brain.
Are there any cars you're eyeing up these days? Anything that's taken your fancy?
Always. Well, I've had a good year last year for cars coming along. So obviously, I love Martin the Subaru. Gained Olivia to sit alongside Oliver. My Turbo S Cabriolet that I'm quietly to myself calling the boss.
Nice.
Then the 205.
Okay.
Because that is, again, one of those seminal, proper moments from your motoring history. Living in Harrogate, working in Harrogate, a mate, Chris, had a 205 GTI that he rallied. Single stage rallies, really basic clubman rallying. And it was, I couldn't imagine having such a wealth, such a thing in your life, as a car that you built to be the way, it changed the gearbox in it to a close ratio of Forest box. And I remember thinking, who can change the gearbox in their car for one that, I mean, it was staggering. So that, to rip around in that on the roads and to do clubman level rallying, oh my God, yeah, that.
Famously, James May has always fancied your E-Type Jag.
Yes, he tried to buy it by stealth. That was very funny.
Have there been cars, vice versa, that James or Jeremy have owned that you've fancied having a go in?
Jeremy's Grosser, his big Mercedes.
Nice.
I do like that thing. Of James's, we've got quite different taste in cars, James and me, haven't we? I like his Alpine.
I really like his 911, the Carrera S.
Yeah, it's a
white
simple 997, isn't it?
Yeah.
White Carrera S. Yeah, that's a nice car. Yeah, those two. Other than that, I'm not so. I'm not a big Ferrari bloke. I don't. The 458 Speciale. It does nothing for me. It's
Fair
really,
enough.
I'm so sorry. I wish it did. I fear I'm missing out. But
He's never let us film with that.
Has
He's
he
filmed
not?
with most of his other cars, but the second we say 458, he goes very quiet.
May, give us your stupid orange Ferrari. Stop messing about. You don't have a car like that to hide your light under a bushel, do you? No, you can't use my orange Ferrari, I'm shy. I mean, it's an orange Ferrari with gold wheels and stripes on it. Let's have a go.
It is worth quite a lot now. Those
yeah, it's valuable.
Speciales
God,
have
yeah,
gone pretty
yeah.
crazy. Another one of your TV co-stars he's been on a few podcasts, and he keeps saying this fact that I don't quite believe. It's Mr. Mike Brewer. He says he got you the job on Top Gear.
Oh, really?
That's quite a punchy thing
It
to
is.
say.
It's quite out there, isn't it?
Would you like to explain what you think his side of the story is and what your side of the story is?
I mean, you have to understand, Mike and I, our careers go way back together, inevitably, because there's only so many people doing our job and you're going to know them. So I remember him right back from when I worked at Renault in the press office.
Yes.
So I'd left radio. I wanted to get to know the editors of all the car TV shows, so I worked at the press office. So I hosted him when I was at Renault. But I also then left and went back to broadcasting, darling. I was working for Granada Men and Motors. So I turned up, I think it was Morocco. And I think it was a Renault Scenic 4x4 launch.
Okay.
And I don't think I was at Renault by then. I think I'd left and I was there as a journalist. I turned up in Marrakesh and there's me and, there's Mike he was driven then, wasn't he?
Yes.
Full crew, so like 5 or 6 people, cases and cases of
Showing you
gear.
how it's done.
And there's me and my mate Stan. And Stan's bag had the camera and the sound key in, as well as his socks and pants.
Where's Stan now?
I don't know. So he was camera sound director and I was presenter and writer. And it was like, there's big boy TV, little boy TV, and I really wanted to be part of it. He claims something, and I can't remember, he claims that he was offered the job but he'd already accepted Wheeler Dealers, and the only reason I got it is because he'd done that.
So it would have been Jeremy, him, and then I keep forgetting
Jason Dawes.
Jason, that's the one.
Yeah. But Mike claims that. I claim that that's horse.
I thought you might.
I don't think it did, but I don't know. You'd have to ask Wilman. Wilman would remember. Jeremy wouldn't. He's too old.
Okay. So there's potentially some truth in it.
Would I be a logical choice if you were going after Mike Brewer and then he couldn't do it? Would you go for me? I don't think so. I'm cultured and sophisticated. Mike is Mike.
Sure. I mean, he's done all right on
I
Wheeler
love you,
Dealers.
Mike. I do. I love him. I think he's one of the nicest men, if not the nicest, in our industry. And the thing that most impresses me about Mike, and it says a lot about him as a broadcaster. If he and I go to a car event together, car show, whatever, he can honestly just wander about the place. Everybody just goes, "All right, Mike, well, mate." And I'll have to stop and do a million selfies, which I don't mind at all, that's the job.
Yeah.
But it's a different relationship. I aspire to what he's got, which is people genuinely see him and, "Oh, mate," they just know him. It's just part of the scenery, and I love that. And he's very lucky to have that. But it just speaks to what a genuine fella he is.
He's also, from his perspective, got best of both worlds, because he'll tell you that Wheeler Dealers is a bigger show than Top Gear ever was.
Oh, he loves that.
There's some stat.
No, I think it's when we stopped doing Top Gear, for a while, his was the biggest car TV show in the world.
Okay.
We'll have to get together. Let's get him on. Let's him
Okay.
and I don't know, can we not do a road trip together or something?
Yeah, absolutely.
Can he come on one of our jobs? I just think we need to sit in a pub and maybe have some lubrication in a boozer and see if what we can sort out. I think that'd be fun. And
Cool.
I think, that's worth doing.
Okay, let's do that. You can maybe come to Western Supermare with us.
Yeah. Brilliant. There's a really fabulous, it's called the Atlantic or something, old school British seaside hotel on the front. Proper. I don't think they attract a younger clientele.
Okay.
Let's go there.
What cars do you think people are sleeping on right now? What car do you think is nicely priced but is about to blow up? You've potentially answered it with the Peugeots, because I think those 205s are about to
they
go
could
nuts.
go. That's a Focus RSs. Fiesta STs.
Mondeo STs.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, obviously.
Potentially some turbo Rovers. They're
Really?
sniffing around that.
Should we
area,
just name the cars you've got
Well,
online?
specifically, there's one called a 620 Ti.
Oh, really? And that's the big hot tip.
I mean, they are Cosworth beaters, those things.
Yeah, and how many of them are there on? There are 30.
I bet you reviewed one back in the day, did you? Men and Motors days?
Don't think think
Rover 620?
Don't think I did.
It's a 99, so that's bang
Yeah,
on.
I was doing it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I did. Oh my God, was I really reviewing cars when that thing was new? I was. Oh, no. Well, that's really horrible.
I can't
Cars
tell
you
whether
review
you...
that become classics.
Well, that's it. I kind of feel that I buy a certain era of car and you're automatically not going to like them because they kind of depress you in that way a bit. Because I'm early
Possibly.
2000s
But that
obsessed.
era of cars is coming alive. I mean,
Yeah.
Imprezas have gone.
Yes.
But I do think Focus RSs.
Okay.
Uh,
Like the
Clio,
Mark 1, the original.
Little Clio 172.
Yes.
That's a nice little car.
Mm-hmm.
Or Clio Williams. I think they've already started to take off. Audi, RS4 just went the other way. Early ones of those. Actually, the early XK8s. I don't think they'll ever go berserk, but they didn't half mature. I never liked them. Every XK8, the later XK8, last gen and the one before.
Yeah.
When it was new, I'm always like, oh. And then once it's been replaced, I'm like, actually, do you know what? There's something in there.
They are a nice shape.